Right, hi everyone. So these are messages for a collective of twin flames that I was just guided. Yeah, I don't know. I was just cutting about. Sorry, I'm in between painting my nails and I really don't like filming when I've not done it, but never mind. So everything I do is clearing, healing, channeling energy. And just now, because I just got these cards yesterday, well, because I was guided to, the Mary Magdalene energy is very, very present. Um, and it's really interesting that for the Divine Feminine, I've pulled Magdalene's Portal Gateway. And this basically, like, I'll read it, but it basically reminds me of when I've spoken of the importance of like vision quests or like clearing your energy in some way, like sweat lodges. And remember, if you haven't actually got anything near you like that, like access to go to some kind of shamanic group or something like that, um, you can do that yourself just by like if you've provided. I know that like those of you that have got children and that, right, it's going to be a wee bit hard to do shit like this, right? Because well, it would near enough be impossible unless you got someone to look after the kids overnight if you're doing like a 24-hour thing or something. But so basically, you have to work out what's going to be relevant for you. I'd say for those of you that do have kids, right, you just do a different version of it. Like, after you got the kids in bed, um, just make sure that you're getting yourself to bed and going into that quiet, dark place. And rather than sleeping, um, getting insights from the divine. I just looked at 144 in the dark, basically. Do you know what I mean? Again, I know it's hard not to fall asleep, but yeah, basically, I feel this is like those of you that are called to like fast and pray as well. Because, like I said, I mention every now and again that this is something that I do, but I don't mention, well, now and again I do, but most of the time I won't tell you when I'm doing that, because there is this sort of secret element to it that is, well, very important, basically. Um, and that, like, what I will share about whenever I do that, right? Sometimes I'm able to, like, do it for, like, 2 days, maybe even 3 days. 2 days is probably the most that I do majority of the time, but I have done 3 days before. Um, but if all you can do is 24 hours, that's a long time as well. And if you can't even do that, then I don't know, just do whatever you can and build up to it. And again, you don't even need to do this at all, by the way. It's just the only way I can describe it is that it would just be a strong calling to do it. Um, but there is power in, well, obviously praying, but definitely fasting and praying, and particularly like what I've said before, when you're guided to break off toxicity and black magic and spells and generational curses and all this, and again things that I don't even friggin' know the name of. Um, I just know because I clear this in people, and believe me, one of the things I'm not really liking about a lot of the transits in my eighth house is, because eighth house is Scorpio, it's pain, it's psychic detective energy, it's shamanic healing, and again, it's very much like priest like counselor energy again. So this is all the stuff that I do, right? So that's why, with my purpose being there, that's why I help people with this stuff. But also the shadow side of that is it is also, it is like, it can be the dark occult stuff as well. And it's kind of like I can't stand when like they guide me to research like, oh, that, like, seriously, the most horrendous stuff that I already know about, and I basically don't want to fill my spirit with knowing about some of this stuff. You know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying, like, especially, yeah, I'm not even gonna let the words pass my lips, to be honest, because I do believe in, yeah, it's not nice, but I know why. Like, they've led me to stuff because of when I get certain people drawn to me, and it's things that are going to be relevant to them. Because I'm more thinking of sessions I done a few months ago. There was a pattern, and it was like particularly really, really dark, like really quite like unimaginable stuff. And for me to be able to help people at the best of my ability, 444 with the angels, the irony is I have to bring my angelic vibration, but I also have to be aware of the darker energies that people have dealt with their whole lives, or the spiritual warfare. So, which I'm already like well versed in this, helping people with it, and being attacked myself. But well, they're just cranking up a gear. I suppose that's what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm well prepared. And the thing is, see, with all these planets in Gemini, that's the mind. So I wouldn't be surprised if like my um therapy clients, like, you know, the last time I had a therapy client was a while ago now. I wouldn't be surprised if it's because people are really going to need it now. So I'm just sort of sharing that. I don't like it, but it's kind of like I do feel a lot of people, because you're going through your spiritual awakening, like you are. I feel this, but I feel, it's a lot of overthinking or worse. Like, you feel like you're losing your mind, kind of thing. Um, which is all part of spiritual awakening. There's loads of funny memes about that, but basically what I'm saying is it's no funny when you're in it. 555, it's big changes. Whether you're a divine masculine or a divine feminine, by the way, because remember, whatever the divine masculine's going through now, the divine feminines went through it before. Sometimes it can be a couple of years before. It's interesting because, like, sometimes things are mirrored. It's like you'd be surprised you're actually going through very similar feelings at the same time. And the things that are orchestrated to get you both in the same mirroring state, they could be completely different scenarios, but the feeling's the same. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. But other times, like I've said before, it could be something that you went through years ago, and then your twin only starts to mirror that situation further down the line. And I know that because I've seen it. I've seen it with different people. I've asked people, like, is there anything in your life, or is there anyone you were attached to? It doesn't need to be romantic. And then the person tells me, and then they tell me what's going on with their person. And I'm like, well, there you go. And they're like, oh my God, I would never have thought that that was connected to that. And again, that's what I mean by, yeah, I'm very good at pattern recognition. Like my astrological placements, say that if you know astrology, but and also it's just flashed up 15% battery, which really gets me onto why I think they've got me to grab this. And like I said, I just took my nail varnish off not long ago and I was about to paint my nails, so I'm annoyed that I've grabbed the phone without it. But again, think about it. This feels like this is divine masculine card, this is divine feminine. I feel like this is a divine feminine regardless of gender. You're guided to be like, if you're not guided to literally fast and pray, and no, by the way, I'm not doing that right now. I've just come out of that, so there you go. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying by, I might, you might think, oh, I bet she's doing it now. She's like, no, I've done it. And also I was going to do it for longer, and then I got the nod to like, nah, like, it's time to eat now. And, so you have to tune in. I just go by God keeps me right, my guides. But basically, like I must stress, that you don't need to, it's not always practical for people. It'll just be a calling in your spirit. But and also you don't need to like give up complete eating. Like for instance, like you can give up, like you hear me saying all the time, like sometimes I get guided to give up coffee for a month just to basically help with my spiritual discipline, because I love coffee. And then sometimes I get guided to give up sugar. Sometimes I get guided to give up, just give up something that is a temptation. You can't get enough of, kind of like, I think I might need to make crisps one of them, but because I already gave up something a while ago that I'm doing for a while, because it was like I started eating more crisps because I was not eating something else, and I'm like, now I'm eating too many crisps. So again, like, be careful with that, because I love crisps. I just shouldn't buy them. I love them. But I also love chocolate and sweets and blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? So again, I feel with me talking about food here, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like I start attracting more people that are I don't know, having some kind of issues around eating there. Because that happens every now and again. And remember, if there is something to do with that, yeah, I've got a huge background in that. There can be lots of, usually if there is any kind of issue around eating, overeating, undereating, or just, feeling a bit of a disconnect with eating, that's to do with trauma. I've spoke loads about in the past that, I went through my own process of basically healing my own sacral chakra energy a very, very long time ago, even before my dark night of soul, actually. So we're talking like over 10 years ago. And it was it was kind of amazing when I realized, like, wow, like I was totally detached from my sacral chakra. Like, you know what I mean? It was like I was just flinging myself in my bed without even making sure I was comfy. I was putting stuff on my bed too, like I'd have books and clothes and, you know, clean clothes. That's something you know, I might have clutter hanging about, but I've never, you know, I'm very kind of, I'm actually too much like that, that like as soon as I've wore something, even just once, it goes in the washing, which creates a lot of washing, but you know what I mean? It's, so I'm no one for like leaving like, you know, dirty clothes lying about and that, but I can like wash the clothes and then leave them sort of hanging about and that's, you know, it's, yeah, you know what I mean? It's that's what I've actually got a bit better at that, and I've found a system. But anyway, so I'm just sorry, they're just letting you see the bits of me that are imperfect, because there's plenty. That's enough for now. But what I'm saying is, in the past, even like I said, even if it was a long, long time ago, it was quite amazing when I recognised and really started to pay attention to the sacral chakra around eating. And yeah, basically, long story short, I healed my connection with food, and I now, like, I love my food. You know, I love my food too much, but it's like, you know, I really do have a really great relationship with food. So I don't know who the hell needs to hear all of that, but that came out. So, um, right. So let's read this. Right. So this is Divine Feminine's card. This is Divine Masculine, but remember that can be Divine Masculine's feminine side, and this can still make sense to Divine Feminine too. So, and it means something. I just looked at 11:11 as well, awakening. So lift yourself and raise your vibration higher so your consciousness can expand into the portal. So again, that's why I'm saying this feels connected to fasting and praying, because that, you know, does help with that. But there are, you know, there's other ways. And don't listen to people like, again, I've said this before, but I remember catching somebody once, and it's not anybody that's well known or anything, like, but it was actually somebody that was really quite egotistical and anyway, but all I'm saying is I said at the time, but I caught something. It was like the only way to go for your spiritual awakening, the only way to access your spiritual gifts is by fasting and praying. There's no other way. That's the way that I done it, and I'm writing a book about it and all this kind of stuff. And it was like I was watching this, and it was like, and I thought that's like not even fucking true, because like I have to say that is not how I like. Although I do that now, that is not how more of my gifts flooded in. Yeah, I have been, you know, extremely like clear everything from, that's why that's my email, from, you know, from when I incarnated. But you know, my more of my spiritual gifts did come in, like, you know, definitely, well, even before my dark night soul, but after my dark night soul, it was like fucking, like it was like a waterfall, you know, like this waterfall and being led to here. And I wasn't fasting and praying, do you know what I mean? Like I was definitely doing my version of praying, like I was setting, and I would have called it setting intentions at the time. And actually, to be honest, I was praying too, you know, it was silently. But yeah, so just, I don't know why they're getting me to that, but it is true, you know, I'm saying, like, I'm all for people just doing what they're guided to do. And you know, you don't follow anybody at the beat of anyone else's drum. And like I said, that did really annoy me, and it was so funny because I don't normally comment, but it guided me to like just sort of be like, you know, I just sort of chipped in on the live stream saying, um, you know, I actually do all the same. That wasn't, and I wasn't saying it like in a dickhead way, you know, when it's like I do the same as you. It was just kind of like, oh, you know, I'm a this and a that and a that, and I didn't access, you know, my gifts through fasting and praying. You know what I mean? So that's not everyone's experience. And it was funny because I saw the woman see what I'd said and then just, you know, ignore it. And you know, they would just feel that's somebody talking shite. But obviously we know I'm not talking shite. But that's what I mean by it. It's like, it's a shame that when I was saying this on the last session that was on, that my experience has been that although I say, oh, I don't comment from, you know, this channel because it's like I like the hard climb, you know, Saturn and Scorpio. It's also because of that, because like that time I commented on that women's one, I wasn't even commenting from this channel, and it was like, and this was a while ago now too, and it was like, but could you imagine if that's what people can feel like when it's, can you imagine what we'd get if I was commenting from this and then they go and see what it's just, it's a shame, but it's yeah, some people can get threatened and be really like quite a bit, because it was like, you know, basically that woman was claiming that was the only way, it was something like, you know, the only way you're going to ascend is through fasting and praying. If you don't start doing that, you're not going to ascend, you're not going to get your spiritual gifts, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that, you're not going to meet your twin. And it just simply was not true. And it just kind of reminds me when I've seen some other people in the past, again, they remind me of things from years ago, so that it kind of feels safer to say it, when they're like, you know, as soon as you meet your twin flame, there's an activation and you go through your dark night soul right away. And it's just, that wasn't my experience, and that's not true. Arguably, when I've met him, there was something that happened, but I didn't instantly go into my dark night or a dark place. You know what I mean? That didn't happen till quite a few years later. When I'd caught the feels more, you know what I mean? So I'd caught some kind of intense attraction. What the fuck is this? I can't get enough of this guy. And then he was exactly the same about me. But, so again, there's another one that, like, you just trust what you feel, and your story. So, and that's why I try my best to respect everybody's unique, different journeys. And hopefully, that is what, that's what you can see, is that I tell the way it happened to me, my perspective on it. But please don't let people out there do that, because it's really, it's not good when people do that. Like, this is the only way, I mean, maybe for some things it's going to be true for some things, but right now I can't even think what, but there will be for something. So, like, here's one. The one truth is that if you don't love and accept yourself and do the deep shadow work, that's a given, that you're not going to be able to be your twin flame. And even if you do kind of, you manage to see them, it won't be healthy. Do you know what I mean? There'll definitely be some kind of, codependency, because it's like you're not trusting that you can spend time away from them to both feel that, and then that you will find your way back to each other. And let's face it, that will be because some people, it's like you want to stay on the radar because you're afraid they're going to move on to somebody else. But the thing is, they will do that anyway. If you're a twin flame that's just wanting to stay close to them to stop them going towards somebody, believe me, they will find a way. So it's like, just completely let them go, like that quote about let the bird fly free, and if it's meant to fly back, it will. This isn't like any other love connection, and you have to understand that. So I don't know who I'm saying that to, but so there are new things to explore and experience that will change your life. You stand before a gateway. You may enter if you choose to take that first step. So as much as I don't like the whole every time it's a double number talking about portals, I do feel this was to do with the six portal yesterday. So just because it's saying Magdalene's portal. A system of caves in St. Baum is one of the oldest sacred sites in the Western world. The limestone caverns are part of the most extensive subterranean cave system in the world, extending hundreds of miles into the inner earth. The ancient Greeks, Romans, Ligurians, and others believed it was inhabited by the goddess of fertility. It is said that Mary Magdalene travelled and lived out her life at St. Baum. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The Cave of the Eggs is a pilgrimage site used for the ceremony and teaching the divine feminine mysteries, just as Mary Magdalene taught her disciples around 47 CE. Tribes of different beings lived within the portal at St. Baum. Most have a frequency that is higher than terrestrial humans. So again, this is something that, this is said to me a lot when I'm on Zooms. People that can feel my frequency are like, whoa, you're tapped into some, you know what I mean? It's high dimensional, energy, which obviously I'm used to, but like, seriously, I've had people that are out there talking about all of this and think they know what they talk about. I've been quite struck by how high dimensional my energy is. So that's the truth. The entry points to beautiful cities like Shambhala and Telos are guarded by the gates. You need to correct energy signature to pass through them to the portals. Avatars have long been known to live in the caves to access other worlds. There's a local legend of Mary Magdalene ascending to the summit of St. Baum, carried by angels each morning. Look what I just said about the angels at some point. It wouldn't be the first time high dimensional beings were interpreted as angels. So that's what I mean. Even if you like sort of fast, I mean, think about it, we fast every night. Like, I'm talking about maybe you could just do a bit of intermediate fasting, which can have health benefits too. But again, I'm not giving you guidance on that. Like, I'm just telling you bits and bobs of stuff for your spiritual hygiene, your spiritual energy, but it can have health benefits for losing weight, releasing weight, because we don't want to find it. But like I said, if you're anything like me, not so much. Like, I mean, I've tried everything and it does. I could, again, that's probably to do with the folk doing witchcraft. It's probably to do with the fact we've been 40. But anyway, moving on. I'll where there's a will, there's a way. I'm finding ways, but it's just that that's a challenge in itself too. So again, if you are experiencing issues like that too, then get in touch, because I can help people probably. I can definitely help people better than to get better results than I actually get. Um, and also, I was talking about with somebody the other day. That's also when your body's holding on to trauma. So I'm aware of that too. Like I said, I help people, but there's also stuff that is, affected me, and it's kind of like it's fight or flight. It's keeping you safe. So, but it's quite interesting as I'm sort of letting go of stuff and I'm being cryptic here. I'm noticing results. So and also I've said before, another thing is that as twins are like merging with their twin, and the closer you get to union, even if it's still a while away, like it's very common that you can both put on quite a significant amount of weight, and you might be like, what the fuck's going on? So if you're putting on loads of weight and you're not able to lose it, it can also actually be quite a good sign of that being closer. And then you lose the weight when you're in union, and I can think of ways that you can lose the weight through that. But in caves, sensory deprivation can cancel out distractions, cause your higher mind to come to the fore. If you can't sit in a cave, you might sequester yourself in a dark room. So that's what I mean by this is like a vision quest or like a sweat lodge kind of, but you could just do that in a dark room. If you see a cloud of blue light, focus on it until an image appears. This is the spirit essence radiating from source. It is so high in vibration that it does not form atoms or molecules of matter. So again, I feel that's for feminine and masculine, but specifically feminines, you are guided to at least go inwards, right? Because look, then your twin will mirror you, and they need to replenish and recharge. So because they're completing karmic cycles, because it's 21 minutes in, but my hand's getting sore now. So, and I'm sitting on a whole load of stuff, if you can hear all that squeaking going on. So wash away, like I didn't just sit on it. It's like it's leaned in, and now I'm sitting on the stuff. So wash away spiritual impurities. Feel the water carry away all negative attachments that cause ill health and undermine your emotional well-being. Make time to refresh and renew your energy fields. So see what I'm saying? That fits with what I was just saying about if you've got extra weight gain, or you're undereating or overeating like divine feminines or divine masculines, but also the negative attachments. This is the divine masculines card. That is people around you. There's no other way for it. It's either bad habits or negative people around you that are like, energy vampires, it feels like. So Rennes les Bains is a thermal spring in Provence that Mary Magdalene and Sarah would have known. It was also popular with the Romans. Water is a vehicle of spiritual essence and has a memory and a consciousness. It's been used as a source of cleanse and purification for thousands of years. Ancient cultures venerated springs and wells because of the water bubbled up from the body of the earth goddess, carrying her messages and blessings within. And you'll know that when I was on that group Zoom a few weeks ago there, part of it was a water ceremony, which I went and released the water. And again, like I said, it just inspired me to do something similar at some point, because or like it doesn't need to be water. I could do a fire ceremony or something, but it's quite lovely to do, because that's a really huge part of my shamanic work. Is I am somebody that does a lot with the water. That's why I was guided a water carrier, or like to walk by the sea every day, seed in the light, grid worker, all that. So people would dress the wells and springs with flowers, vegetables, and bright offerings on certain days of the year, celebrating the waters that sustain light. Also, I keep being drawn to the page 88, so 1988 or 88 could be a huge sign for someone. Oh, it's going to cut off, so I'll need to read it. Water is also believed to be a vehicle from which all life on Earth originated. Water is a sensitive medium with a consciousness that can understand and retain subtle vibrations and energies. It can take many different forms and be a powerful force that can break apart boulders when it freezes, and has the power to move mountains. As your body is mostly water, it is sensitive to vibration. You can discern positive and negative influences through the water flowing in you, and that's why it's great to have Epsom salt baths, cleanse your energy field. Definitely if you've been around some toxic people or heavy situations, get the Epsom salts on the go, the lavender, the coconut oil, whatever you want to use. And don't just do it once a week, do it as much as you can. Before you drink, charge your water with positive thoughts and intentions. The molecular structure of your water will change so it becomes a healing tonic. And also, just like that, you could just, before you drink a glass of water, in fact, definitely if you're drinking the fluoride normal water, then I would definitely, because I basically don't, but obviously there's circumstances where if I was desperate, I will drink it, but I definitely absolutely pray over that shit and do some Reiki and light codes and basically be like, yeah, take all the crap out of it. The same with like if anyone, like say my mum's like wanting a glass of water or something, although I know she'll get that everywhere else she goes, it's, I definitely pray over it and be like, right, whatever toxic shit is in this, take it out, you know what I mean? So, because like I've said before, every single person that comes to me for any kind of healing, right, mostly online, but you know, when I meet people informally out and about in the real, you know, in the real world, although I struggle to call it the real world because it's a bit of a fake world, isn't it? But yeah, if anybody has been around anybody and they're soaking up negative energies, and what I mean is if like spike proteins, you know, from certain things are affecting anyone's health and stuff like that, because that can actually be a big factor to people's different up and down weight gains. Like even if you didn't, you know, partake in the thingamajigger, so that's a bit shit too, but it is true. Like that is a big reason why I'm like this too, you know, it's because I'm soaking up all the shit from everybody else. But yeah, but like I said, I can clear that mainly, but it is interesting. But yeah, basically that's what I mean. If anybody has been affected by being around people that have done that, or they've done it, they've taken it themselves, speaking in kind of code, that's what I'm here to clearing people. So, you know, as long as you, but I need your permission. Like, you actually have to acknowledge that you don't want that shit in your system, because otherwise it won't work. Even if, and that's what I mean, that's what's interesting about, like, you know, these things that I'm putting out there, although anyone can watch that, and some karmic energies, like people that don't know me, maybe even people that do know me that want me to fail, people might be like, you know, haha, I'm like, you know, using her stuff to heal and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you know, I mean, only the people that are doing a horrible way. It's kind of like, well, the thing is, yeah, it will help you heal. And I really do hope it does, you know, because people like that need healing, but not to the same extent like the people that actually give back to me, you know, for doing it. So that's why it's like the people that actually donate or like book a session, or, you know, and especially if you've got some real dark attachments, because that's what we're saying the other day, that's what they were guiding me to research. I got downloads through my sleep and meditation, and then I was guided to research the things that they were telling me. And it is definitely, it's about the spiritual authority, like, you know, that those dark entities and attachments, which is definitely with the certain things that people took part in, that is, you know, definitely that. They'll only be properly lifted from you if you've put, you know, basically it's putting aside pride and like being like, look, I've took that thinking it was a good idea, now I know it's not, please lift it from me, kind of thing, you know what I mean? And then also, like I said, what I now know is there needs to be a monetary exchange of some kind for it to really be cleared from you, because it's basically you've taken part in something that's really dark, whether you kind of realise or not. Obviously, like, people didn't realise it, and that's why I'm not one of the people that's like, oh, you fucking idiot, innit? And there's a lot of people out there that are basically saying it like that, you know, and it's kind of like, it's not fair, because that's why I was guided to study hypnosis like inside out, you know. It's like, it's dark hypnosis that goes on in the world. It's Stockholm syndrome. It's also just people following the leader, you know, like scared to stand out and speak up and own your sovereignty. And you just, oh, such and such is doing it, or everyone around me is doing it, I'll just do it. And it's kind of like, you did stick out like a sore thumb if you A, decided not to, and B, if you decided to shout about it. And I done both, so no prizes for guessing how my life went there. But again, yeah, it was rough for a while, but now I'm like, you know what I mean, it's it was worth it. And I'm Joan of Arc vibration, so I would do it all over again, because I knew it was the truth, and I knew that it would, at some point, people would be like, oh shit, you know, like Claire was telling the truth and she was just trying to help. But like I said, there'll still be people that lurk on here or in my own personal life that still think I'm nuts for thinking that that's not good for your health and everything, health and stuff. But those people are living in denial, because there's plenty, even people that were pushing that stuff and telling everyone you were selfish if you didn't do it, and then if you didn't do it again and such, like, even these people are turning, you know, they're changing their tune and stuff. And so it's there's plenty of that out there. But like I said, I'm I can just feel it all going on, and I see it now and again through my timeline on YouTube and that. But I just, yeah, I'm so over it. You know, like I'll help people that come. Like I said, I help people that come to me and admit, like, look, I done this, or I'm around a lot of people that done it, and I'm feeling unwell, and I'm feeling like maybe it's got something to do with that. Can you help me? That's who I can help. You know, I'm not in the business of convincing folk that are still Stockholm Syndrome. Basically, what I'm trying to say is hypnosis is powerful. I know that because I am a hypnotherapist. And if people have been completely and utterly hoodwinked, they're under a spell, they're under hypnosis, because it's the same sort of thing. That's why I say you should be very vigilant who you go to for that. Like, I'm very humbled and honoured when people come to me and trust me, because I wouldn't just let anybody do that. And it's because of all of this. Like, that's how a huge majority of people done that. They were hypnotised. Like, you know, there was a system that they done. Getting you to wear the face nappies for a while, training you up that way, and then by the time things were offered, it meant that you just surrendered fully and you done what you were trained to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So that was a heavy message, but yeah, I think that might be what this is about too. Cleansing your energy. So this is why it can resonate for absolutely anyone watching. Toxic people around you or toxins within you. So, like, comment, subscribe, book a session.